Well, evidently I have to do 3 parts. This is 3 of 3. Okay. I don't think I have to do any more than 3, but you never know. I may have to do 4. I don't know. Anyway, so of course you know what happened, what real history we have, not the falsified history. So approximately during the late 40s, I'm just giving approximate time, the United States surrendered to the Soviet Union secretly. Truman capitulated, and we became a slave to the Soviet Union. But the Soviet Union, of course, was controlled by what I would call foreign agencies, or foreign agents, who dictated what the Soviets would tell us to do. Now, the Chinese eventually took the role of the Soviets because I think they gave the Soviets a poison pill. They gave them some information that they could not tolerate, and they fell apart. Their leadership just disintegrated, and the Chinese took over. So anyway, the Chinese have, or still have, and probably will maintain control of our nuclear retaliatory arsenal. Anyway, our nuclear retaliatory arsenal has been maintained, but it's not for our benefit. It's to destroy us. But not many people know that. So, anyway, if we misbehave, remember the movie The Colossus, the Forbin Project? Something like that. If we misbehave, we die. We just die. They just kill us all. So anyway, so we're under the gun. But fortunately, or unfortunately, most people walking around the face of the planet don't know that. I mean, I'm going to conjecture that. That may not be true. So anyway, so you know, you had these B-29s that were fitted with atomic weapons and made to land on water, and take off on water, and lie close enough to the U.S. coast, major cities, that with enough yield that they could destroy our cities, and therefore the country would fall apart. And since this was very close after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we would basically be told that we were a victim of our own weapons, which of course we were. And the technology came from U.S. Scientists, and now we're a victim of them. So that being said, I have to kind of visualize what happened. So here's Truman. Old Truman, he ordered the bombs dropped on Japan. And remember his famous saying, "The buck stops here"? Actually, I think he had a little plaque on his desk. But anyway, here comes a bunch of military folks, generals, admirals, CIA dudes, all kinds of shitty people. And they all run into his office and say, "Holy fuck, the Soviets have nuclear weapons close to our cities, and they're threatening to detonate them if we don't capitulate and give over our codes to the nuclear weapons and basically surrender. They want unconditional surrender." All right, so Truman says, "No way, motherfucker, no way. You have to show me I'm from Missouri." Well, of course, they have to show him. So he says he wants to talk to Stalin. Well, anyway, so they signal the Soviets, say, Truman wants to talk to Stalin. And they say, "Stalin is ill. He's got the flu. He can't talk to you right now." So anyway, then Truman, being ironic, you know, that Missouri humor, dry humor, he says, "You mean that the person that would control the whole goddamn planet from this day forward till doomsday is sick and can't talk to me, who's going to turn over the keys to the whole fucking goddamn planet?" Yeah, he's got the flu. Okay. So anyway, then Truman says, "Hey, I'm not going to believe you motherfuckers unless you show me that you actually have nuclear weapons in place close to our cities and you are able to detonate them on command." And of course the Soviets say, okay, bring anybody you want, any experts, but we have to keep them indefinitely once they inspect our weapon, let's say. And so they have a team from, Livermore, Los Alamos, some Navy folks, some Army folks, some Marines, all kinds of people. And then they get on a plane, they fly off, and then after about 6 or 8 hours, they radio back and they say, yes, President Truman, the Soviets have the capacity to destroy our country, and we cannot say boo to them because they have perfect deniability. It is the perfect first strike weapon. Utterly impossible to shield us. There's no way to prevent them from doing it, and there's no way we can retaliate effectively. Unless we want to destroy the whole goddamn planet. Alright, so Truman says, okay, either I kill everybody on Earth and everything on Earth, or I let the Soviets win. And then his scientists come to him and say, well, technically you wouldn't destroy everything on Earth, you would just make the Earth very difficult to live on. With a lot of weapons being, a lot of detonations. We don't really have that many. Well, we probably have about 500 nukes. The Soviets probably have 300 nukes. So, we're guessing 800 nukes, maximum damage. Probably about half the planet will be uninhabitable. But anyway, so Truman says, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to have every American turn to me and look to me as the person that destroyed the country. So he turns over the keys to our nuclear retaliatory force. And the Soviets bring observers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at that point we become basically slaves to the Soviet system. And of course we're slaves to the real masters who are hidden, the foreign agencies. Alright, now that being said, at some point, probably in the early 70s, the Soviets did something, I think, fairly courageous, actually. And but they paid a heavy price, because what happened was they, that single act, the single heroic act, resulted in their destruction. And anyway, so around 1993, the Soviets disintegrate as a result of what the Chinese told them, because it caused great turmoil in the Soviet leadership, and of course the decline and destruction of the entire Soviet system and their reduction to sort of a fragmented countryside. And also they lost the keys to the kingdom, because the Chinese took control from some probably fairly astute business person in the Soviet camp who said, I have the keys to the Americans' nuclear retaliatory force, and I'll give them to you for $10 trillion cash. So the Chinese gave him the money, guy took off, bought himself a planet, and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, the Chinese took control, but then of course they're only in control as long as their masters, that is, the foreign agencies, agents, dignitaries, allow them to keep control. They still have to do what they want them to do, because in reality there's a key piece of information that these foreign dignitaries hold that makes the wheels go and the whole thing go bang. So the Chinese have dominance, and so they continue to invoke certain historical things that don't really make sense unless you look at it from in hindsight. I mean, once you understand, once you're looking through this lens and you see what's really happening, it's like that movie They Live. Remember? Here's a guy working on a construction site, down and out, homeless. Anyway, so he goes into this church where this music is playing, and he finds some sunglasses. And the sunglasses allow him to see aliens. Anyway, so the aliens evidently are in control of the planet, because they're, well, anyway, they got technology. And I guess they like to fuck, too, for some reason. Anyway, so what happens is, these people have undertaken a very, very, very horrific experiment by which they can achieve some aim that I'm not quite clear on, except that I know that it is to get around a certain feature in our environment. Remember, there's a movie called Battlefield Earth, remember? Scientologists love that movie. Yeah, I think John Travolta was in it. He's a Scientologist. Well, anyway, in the movie, these giant aliens who basically conquer Earth find they can't tolerate the radiation and also the atmosphere or something like that. And so they have to use humans to do stuff. So it's kind of like that. There's some limitation that they have to work around. So that's the problem for them. It's the limitation that they have to work around. I know what the limitation is, but like I said in a previous segment, this is 3 of 3. I can't really go into it because it's just too horrible. Besides, you know, either you already know what it is because, you know, you're part of the problem, or you don't know what it is and therefore you're safe. Or you're like me and you're one of the good guys trying to help, you know, get this motherfucking shit straightened out. So anyway, it's late. And anyway, remember there's important features that you have to remember. One of the important features is that when you move forward and you move backwards, like consider today's date. This is 2112. So it's like 1 foot forward, 2 steps back, 2 foot forward, 1 step back. It's like, you know, like a square dance. Anyway, so the important thing to remember is that well, basically you don't have to tell everything you know, but you do have to get the information out. You have to be able to work in a clandestine way in a very difficult environment, but at the same time not be sure who you're dealing with. Sometimes I think I'm dealing with an ally, another person like me working for the CIA, or I'm dealing with some, you know, malicious motherfucker. So, you know, it's hard to tell. Sometimes the allies, or the good guys turn tail and double up, and then they become one of the problems, you know. They're traitors. I think we should execute all the traitors. I mean, I think they should just be summarily executed. You know, don't even give them a court-martial. Just take them out against the wall and blow them away. Just shoot them, kill them dead. Bang, you're gone. But, you know, that's not going to happen because that would be too revealing. Anyway, I'm getting fat. Look how fat I am. My hair is receding, too. Look at that. Isn't that disgusting? Sorry. But anyway, I'm gonna stop this before it hits the magic 15-minute mark.